Hello, I'm Dan from Wargames Illustrated. This is Mark. And
Hello.
I wanted to quiz Mark about some recent projects he's been working on, which have come to fruition as articles in the magazine. So both of the things we're going to be talking about are using this set here from Dungeons and Lasers, which is a Polish company. This has been imported into the UK by North Star, and we nabbed one of these off North Star, didn't we?
We nabbed two.
We nabbed
we were
two.
greedy.
Yeah. This is not the one we were working on. This is the full set. So first of all, we're going to talk about these objective markers that you made for that game there, the Silver Bayonet.
Silver Bayonet.
Yeah, because we started playing Silver Bayonet and we were using some objective counters or clues.
Clues, yeah.
So we were using these, which have previously been used as markers for Death in the Dark Continent, and they were completely wrong. We've got a ship's wheel, we've got an anchor, and we've got a pair of bleemers. But we decided they weren't really appropriate for Silver Bayonet.
They're very pretty.
Yeah,
they serve a purpose, but they're not really
what we wanted. No.
Yeah.
So we took this Dungeons and Lasers set and we took out of it the customization bits, I think they call them.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, which come like that as a plastic frame.
There's a second frame in there as well, I believe, isn't there?
Oh yeah. There's two frames in there, isn't it? Yeah. We'll come to the walls in a bit because that was a different project. But for now, the bits themselves. And we decided some of these would be really appropriate for the clue markers that you get in Silver Bayonet, because there's a list of them in there, isn't there?
There's an absolute heap of these in here.
Which are all quite weird, different things. But let's have a look at some of the ones that you made again, using these, and which turned into this article here.
Speaking of weird, probably the weirdest of them all is the Troll Dung, which one of my favourite clue markers. And so looking at the Vanity Shield, it is a small dwarven-looking stone statue which is found on the Fantasy Customization Bits sprue. You know, it's an interesting one. How do you create Troll Dung? What does Troll Dung look like? I just imagine it to be giant human poo. So I created a little objective there which had a modesty shield based on one of the kind of totems.
A troll always gets his modesty.
Because trolls need modesty.
Yeah.
And simply just stuck random bits in there to represent what the troll will probably be consuming. So hats, swords, bit of bone, that kind of stuff. And it was good fun to think about that one.
So that was quite a conversion job, wasn't it? Yeah. Whereas some of them were a bit more straight off the frame, weren't they? Like this rack of weapons, for example.
Yeah, where we go? Yeah, there we go. Yep.
Yeah, so that was pretty much straight off there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then
obviously the mysterious tree.
Yes.
Quite straightforward.
Is that on here? Oh yeah, it's a two-parter, isn't it? Yeah. And the Beauty and the Beast candlestick.
Yeah, very much so. I imagine it's getting into song on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, so a base for each one, and then just a lick of paint really on the plastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite straightforward. You don't want to go over the top. Obviously, you need to be able to see them on the board, but likewise, they should still fit the feel of the period.
Yeah.
So quite a lot of muted colours on there.
Yeah.
Not only are you able to create a selection of really obvious clue markers using the Dungeons and Lasers Fantasy Customization Bit selection, but you also have the capacity to create a selection of generic markers which would represent such things such as a bloody note, necklace of teeth, and other objects and clues which are obviously too small to really represent on your tabletop. So we use things such as the stalks or the statue and other such objects which are just indicative of where a clue could be as opposed to representing the clue specifically. One of the more eye-catching clue markers was created by utilising the small stone table which was used to create the small icon. It was very quickly painted using greys, a sponge to highlight and add texture. Then I used a selection of greens of a kind of electric green colour to create the glow effect. Nice and straightforward to do. You start with a darker green which appears to bleed and blend towards the outsides of the pentagram, working your way up with lighter greens closer towards the centre where the light will be emanating, and obviously finished with blood effect because all stone tables with pentagrams need blood effect on there. Turning to one of my favourite clue markers which I created is the Silver Cross clue. I used the casket from the Dungeons and Lasers selection, but sadly there was no real representation of a cross on there. So I grabbed a piece of plasticard, a pair of scissors and a craft knife, and I cut it to the shape of a cross. I then used a file to file it down so it was nice and smooth around it, and stuck it on there. Nice and simple, very effective. Obviously not a cross which someone would be carrying around to ward off vampires, but it's clearly there to represent a Silver Cross clue as opposed to be true to life. You can see that we have here the giant dog skull clue, which is a repurposed dragon head. Interestingly, we actually used the horns, which would have been stuck onto this skull to create the dragon. We used those to create the clue marker of the Book of True Names. Simply took one of the horns, stuck it onto the side of the stack of books, and painted it in a garish green colour to represent a tentacle. Nice and simple, but shows how you can utilise a piece for something which it wasn't initially intended for.
Some of them you went a bit further with. Well, some of them didn't actually come off here at all, did they? Like the Dead Minotaur.
The Dead Minotaur, which was used to represent a mutilated corpse clue. This is just an old miniature of mine, which I stuck onto a bit of plasticard, based as I did with the rest of them. Using an airbrush, I quickly shaded around it to tone it down, as the miniature itself, when initially painted, was much more poppy and didn't really fit the feel of the rest of them. And then I threw on a heap more blood effect on there, because blood effect is great. I just thought it was perfect. The objective is a corpse, and what better than a Minotaur corpse?
Is that one of the objectives on the list then, a corpse?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So mutilated corpse is another one here, which I created, which is a Trent miniature. So it's the same objective as the Minotaur.
Right.
So you can pick between a little mutilated man or a giant Minotaur.
Some of them are really obscure, aren't they? I mean, what's this one?
It's footprints.
Footprints. Just footprints.
Simple,
there.
yeah. It is some milliput, and I just found a miniature with large feet, made some imprints in there. And to make it so the footprints were obvious on the board, I used a puddle effect, and it just makes it so you can see it quite straightforward, and you don't have to look at it too much going, what is going off there?
Yeah, no, they all tell a bit of a story, don't they? Which is what the clues are all about, I guess, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, loads of great stuff you can get off this frame, because the point is really this is not originally designed for wargaming at all, really. It's sort of dungeon crawling games or RPG games, isn't it? But we took it and we decided to do something different with it. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. We'll come back in another video where I'll quiz Mark about how he used the rest of the bits, the dungeon walls, to make something totally different. While we show you a little preview of Mark's ruinous effects, why not let us know what you think of these clues in the comments and give the video a like. And of course also click the subscribe button to be notified whenever we post new content. This video has been brought to you by WI Prime, Wargames Illustrated magazine's online members club. View more videos or find out more about WI Prime by following these links.